people in the military, and great American patriots. Thank you very much. Well, you remember the campaign. I said, let me begin by wishing each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, right? And I can think of no better Christmas present for the American people than giving you a massive tax cut. That's what's happening. And your Senate and your House, hopefully, very shortly, will have those approvals. Those hands will go up, and you're going to be paying a lot less tax. So congratulations. I hope. They got to vote, and I think they will. I can't wait to sign that tax cut. Great for so many, but great for the middle class. We're going to put it into law. We're going to cap off an incredible first year in office. There's been no first year like this, or at least just about no. I think the answer is no, but I have to be very accurate because of the fake news back there. In our campaign for the presidency, we defied the pundits, the politicians, and the special interests because ours was a movement of the people, and it really was. It was a movement of you. It was a movement of the people. It was a movement to make America great again. And it's happening. That's happening. And by the way, how are your 401ks doing? Not too bad, right? Over the weekend, I was in New York City, and I love to say hello to our folks in uniform, whether it's the military, whether it's law enforcement. And we had people backstage, and I always want to take my time. And a man comes up. He was a police officer in New York City. First time anyone said this to me, he said, Mr. President, I want to thank you. My family thinks I'm a financial genius. My 401k is up 39% in 9 months. I think it's going to be very hard for somebody to beat us in a few years. Can you imagine? Now we're only talking about a few years. All you have to say is, with us it goes up, with them it goes down. And that's the end of the election, right? Everyone's doing well, and it's going to be a lot better. We're going to do better and better. We are going to make our country great again, and we are looking at our country now as America first. America first. So tonight we're going to speak straight to the American people and cut right through the fake news media. Right through. We're going to speak the plain truth, and really the truth that you just want to hear. You have to hear. They don't want to hear. But And by the way, did you see all the corrections the media's been making? They're saying, sorry, we made a... They've been doing that all year. They never apologized. Maybe that comes with being the president. I don't know. I don't know. They've been apologizing left and right. They took this fraudster from ABC. They suspended him for a month. They should have fired him for what he wrote. He drove the stock market down 350 points in minutes, which, by the way, tells you they really liked me, right? When you think of it. And you know what he cost people? And I said to everybody, get yourself a lawyer and sue ABC News. Sue him. So And then CNN apologized just a little while ago. They apologized. Oh, thank you, CNN. Thank you so much. You should have been apologizing for the last 2 years. True. What a group. What a group. But since the election, and they're not going to argue with this, we've created 2.2 million new jobs. Factories are coming back to our country. You know, we have factories pouring back into our country. You ever think you'd hear that? I used to tell you that's going to happen. See, now there's consequences when companies close up their factories, move to another country, make a product and sell it right through. They have consequences now. And by the way, those consequences are getting very steep, and they're going up. There's no more of that stuff. There's no more. In November alone, you saw this today, we added 228,000 jobs. I watched these anchors this morning. They were devastated. Did you say, oh, what's going on? And honestly, we have a long way to go. We're going to do much better than this, and I've been saying it, including another 33,000 new jobs in manufacturing. Where do you hear that, right? Hispanic unemployment is the lowest ever recorded. Any Hispanics here? Any Hispanic? Any Hispanics? You guys were great. Remember, they weren't going to vote for me because I'm going to build the wall, but they want the wall too. They want security. Oh, we're going to have the wall, don't worry. No, they want security. How about the Cuban population in Miami? Well, we have Cubans here tonight. Good. Was the number 86% in favor of Trump? A tremendous percentage. Total unemployment is now at a 17-year low. Think of it. Not bad. Not bad after 10 months. It's only going to get better. Listen to this one. This is, to me, maybe one of the most important because it's all psychological to a large extent, and that's what creates greatness. Consumer confidence is at a 17-year high. Think of that. It was not like that in your last administration. Economic growth last quarter surged to 3.3%. You know it. You know where it was, right? When we started, you know where it was? Dingo. 3.3%, and it's going a lot higher. You know, I used to hear you'll never hit 3, you'll never hit 2.5. You figure maybe 2.3, 2.4. If we didn't have the hurricanes last quarter, we would have hit 4%, and everybody back there would have said that's impossible. We had a couple of hurricanes. You heard about it, right? You heard about it? The stock market is hitting an all-time high record for another, and think of this, 86 times since Election Day. 86 times. It hit a record. 86 times. And we're going to keep it going. And then you look at all of the money you folks are making. Oh, I wish I could take 10 or 15%, but I think you're not going to do that. Yeah? You're not going to do that. But it's getting better and better. Your pensions are getting bigger and bigger. Your pension funds, all of those things are happening. And wait till you see what we're doing. Tax cuts, but wait till you see what we're doing with health care. Wait till you see. You're going to be happy. Not the Obamacare nightmare. Not Obamacare nightmare. It's not that nightmare where your premiums are a disaster, right? They're a disaster. No, we have it going. You watch. We have some very good things happening with respect to health care. And the taxes are a part of it, and you'll see what happens right after taxes. You're going to see what happens, because with taxes, something great is going to get announced. We're getting rid of the individual mandate. That individual mandate, where you pay a lot of money for the privilege of not having to have insurance or health care. So you pay for the privilege of not getting taken care of. Isn't that a wonderful thing? And we're going to repeal it. Since the election, we've created more than $5 trillion in new economic wealth just in the stock market alone. We're not including real estate and other values. $5 trillion. And we are finally rebuilding our country, defending our citizens, and fighting for our great American workers. We're putting America first by renegotiating trade deals. We're renegotiating NAFTA. We're renegotiating our horrendous deal with South Korea. I kept you out of the TPP, which would have been a total disaster for you and for everybody else. And we're making individual deals with these countries. You know, when you get tied into 12 countries or 22 countries or 18 countries, you're stuck. It's a spider web. It's like this. If you have 16 good ones and 2 bad ones, as an example, you can't do it. You can't get out. When you have a deal one-on-one, nice, simple deal. We have a deal with Japan, or we have a deal with South Korea, or we have a deal with whoever it may be. If they don't treat us right, we send them what's called a letter of termination. These people always say, oh, they're saying, oh, TPP. Yeah, we're all these countries tied in. You can't terminate. You're tied into all the good ones. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So you can't do what you have to do. So you send out a letter of termination. You give them a 60-day notice or a 30-day notice or even a 6-month notice. They then come back because we're the big piggy bank that everybody likes robbing. The whole world robs it. So they then come back and they say, can we negotiate? And we make a better deal than we had in the first place, right? But you can't do that when you have many countries tied in. You can't, I call it a spider's web. There's a lot of Washington lobbyists, bureaucrats, politicians who don't want to see things change. They're made a fortune. Areas around Washington, D.C. are the richest areas in this country. You saw it the other night. A list came out. We have 5 areas that are among the richest areas in the country. That's because everybody is making a fortune, and people outside of that area are paying for the money they're making. We're not going to have it. They like things the way they used to be. They don't like it so much now, although I must tell you, they're doing well also. They're doing well also. Their stocks are going up. I don't know if there's anything I can do to prevent it for those people. But they call themselves the resistance. You ever see these signs? Resist, resist. I love these guys. Look at these guys. Blacks for Trump. I love you. I love you. By the way, now that you bring it up, black home ownership just hit the highest level it's ever been in the history of our country. Congratulations. Oh, these resistors resist. Hillary resisted, and you know what happened? She lost the election in a landslide. But you know what they're really resisting? They're resisting the will of the American people. That's what they're resisting. Look, it's being proven we have a rigged system. Doesn't happen so easy. But this system, going to be a lot of changes. This is a rigged system. This is a sick system from the inside. And, you know, there's no country like our country, but we have a lot of sickness in some of our institutions, and we're working very hard. We've got a lot of them straightened out, but we really do. We have a rigged system in this country, and we have to change it. Terrible. Terrible. They're resisting progress. They're resisting change because the only thing they really care about is protecting what they've been able to do, which is really control the country and not to your benefit. By the way, wages starting to go up. First time in 20 years, starting to go up. That's all going to happen. That's all going to happen. That's all going to happen. That's just a part of what's going on. But I'm going to do something better than that. We're going to have choice. Now, we have choice in education now. We're starting that, right? And I thought of it the other day. We're going to have choice in jobs so that you don't have one job and hang on even though you don't like it. You're going to have choice where you can take 5 jobs, 6 jobs, 7 jobs, pick the one you like at the most money. That's what's starting to happen because the jobs are coming in. That's what's starting to happen.
Bring in Alan Dershowitz, Harvard professor emeritus. He's also the author of a great book. It's called Trumped Up. He's a lifelong Democrat, a friend of this show. Alan, what did you make yesterday of the grilling by Republicans of the FBI director who, because it does appear there is a political bias at some of the top levels of the FBI?
Well, first of all, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah. I wish I were back on my university campus so I could help Christians celebrate Christmas, Jews celebrate Hanukkah, and Muslims celebrate their holidays. Let's celebrate every holiday and wish everybody good tidings on every day. Look, I think it's just proof of what's happening, the politicization of the criminal justice system. That's why right from the beginning I wanted to have a nonpartisan commission looking into this. When you have Congress look into it, the Republicans try to gain political advantage. The Democrats try to gain political advantage. When you have a special counsel lock her up against Hillary Clinton, lock him up against Donald Trump, I just think we have to move back and start looking at things objectively and scientifically and finding out what really happened. Now, I think we do see some bias among some FBI agents, but I'm sure the bias operates both ways. I'm sure there are people who are Trump supporters, people who are Clinton supporters, and what we have to do is make sure that people who have strong views recuse themselves from participating in any investigation.
Yeah. Professor, you always talk about, is the conduct ultimately criminal? Is there something in the code? If we see that there is extreme bias at the top of the FBI, maybe collusion to hurt President Trump, are there crimes that you would see having been committed that would need to be investigated?
No, I don't see crimes. I see ethical violations that the Justice Department or the FBI might want to look into. But you remember that old ad on television that used to say, "Where's the beef?" Yeah. I always say, where's the statute? Where's the statute? Show me the federal criminal statute that has been violated. And, of course, the Democrats say obstruction of justice. Well, that's like an accordion. You can make it as big or small as you want. And the Republicans are saying espionage against Hillary Clinton. That's also a very accordion-like statute. I don't want to see the criminal law expanded in that way simply to target political opponents.
Well, Professor, you're being shunned by liberals, even though you come on the show and you usually agree with the liberals. Tell us what happened.
Well, I call it the Donald Trump diet. I've lost 7 pounds because my liberal friends have stopped inviting me to dinner parties. And so after 4 years, I'll be back to my high school weight. Look, I think a lot of people on the left don't want to understand my view because they say, which side are you on? Oh, you're on Trump's side? Right. No, no, no. Oh, you're on Clinton's side? I'm on nobody's side. I'm on the side of the rule of law, the Constitution. And the Constitution is clear. If a president exercises his constitutional authority by firing somebody or by pardoning somebody, that cannot be the basis for obstruction of justice. If he goes further and lies or tells his people to destroy evidence, of course that's different. That's how Nixon and Clinton got in trouble. But President Bush cannot be charged with obstruction for simply exercising his Article 2 to power under the Constitution. That's a clear point of view.
President Trump. And that's the point of view you expressed on this program a couple of days ago. And then the President of the United States retweeted, hey, you should watch Alan Dershowitz on Fox and Friends make that case. But then your liberal friends, their heads started exploding. And I understand somebody even suggested that you're being paid off by the Trump people.
Oh, yeah, no, I've been paid off, and I want to be a Supreme Court justice at the age of 79. Look, I'm also being attacked for my article yesterday saying that Trump was right in recognizing Jerusalem, and Obama was wrong when he engineered a resolution that would have changed the status quo by saying all of Judaism's holy places are now illegally occupied territory. I'm being criticized for that by people because that's what Trump said, and if Trump said it, that means Dershowitz can't say it because that means Dershowitz is on Trump's side. I'm on the side of justice and fairness.
You know, when you try to call balls and strikes, you'll offend and frustrate somebody all the time, which is the world that you're living in right now. So we appreciate you coming on and giving us your take.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Just
Thank
do what
you.
we do. Don't read it.
Don't read
I read it and I respond. I fight back. I fight back.
All right. Before you go, Alan Dershowitz, any final holiday salutations?
Well, you know, it's a great holiday season. I think Christians ought to be encouraged to celebrate Christmas, Jews to celebrate Hanukkah. Every religious group in America is free to celebrate their holidays, and we shouldn't be hiding from the fact that America is a very religious country because we have separation of church and state. That's why religion thrives in America. Countries that don't have separation, antagonism is caused. That's why I'm opposed to Roy Moore, among other reasons. He doesn't believe in separation of church and state.
Well, happy Hanukkah, sir. We appreciate having him.
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas.
You got it. Oh, well, John Lewis, an icon of the civil rights era. This is an important moment, opening a museum. But is it the right place to boycott because the President of the United States will be there as well?
I strongly disagree with his actions. I'm a strong proponent for race relationships, and when we look at what the congressman has done in connection with Trump, this really sets us back. This should be a harbinger for greater race relationships moving forward. There's been an acrimonious relationship between Trump and his congressman. However, we need to put this aside, and we need to coalesce together as races and as parties, Democrats and Republicans, move forward and set this as a watershed moment in how race relations could be better.
Absolutely. I mean, there are very few moments where people who disagree ideologically can still come together and celebrate something like this. This museum opening strikes me as a perfect example of that. Is this a political thing? Is this very personal for John Lewis? Where does this animus come from?
Absolutely political. Imagine if Trump didn't go to this. What would people say if Trump didn't show up? Oh, he's a racist, he's this, that, and the other thing. But you have to take in consideration, Donald Trump has done some really good things for the African-American community. You look at a 3% increase in GDP, etc. There's been crime reduction nationally. Therefore, this is a strong platform for the congressman to coalesce behind Trump and move forward and say, hey, look, you know what? We're coming together as a unit, and this is necessary. We want to patronize the opening of this museum, and I think that it's a great thing to do, but the congressman, unfortunately, is going to be left on the shelf.
It's a great point. Joblessness has dropped significantly in the black community under this president. Some policies really making a difference. I want to bring you to another topic, the NFL. Roger Goodell just signed a $200 million contract. $40 million a year, not too bad. While still 25 players around the league took a knee last weekend. How does it make you feel, as a veteran yourself, to see this kind of reward to someone who hasn't been able to address something as basic as standing for our nation's anthem?
Well, you know as well as I do, you lead from the front. That's the military's concept. You lead from the front. Here we have Roger Goodell, he's leading from the rear. There's been precipitous drops in ratings, and it really begs the question of what is he doing as a leader to mend the fences here, so to speak. One thing I think he should do is take a page out of the NBA's playbook. Adam Silver made this as a requirement for players to stand for the anthem, as opposed to Roger Goodell. Unfortunately, he withered under the pressure of the players, and I think that it's a travesty in the wake of the NFL trying to do better things for the community.
You raise a great point about ratings. They're down significantly this year from 2015 and 2016.
And I'm a Cowboys fan, too.
Yeah. I'm sorry for that. I'm a Vikings fan. We're 10-2, so I just want to remind you that. But I'll say we're in the rating business as well. If our ratings were down significantly, you wouldn't be signing a big, shiny new contract.
Absolutely. You're out the door.
Leading from the front is right. Darren Porcher, thanks a lot.
As always, a pleasure, Pete.